So, to start out, to make this YouTube video, I literally had to make a pillow for it. Don't believe me? There's a red blanket. There's the outside. So, we gotta get real creative with the lighting here. So, again, if this isn't 100% what it needs to be in terms of lighting, I apologize. But I did want to start out the next unit kind of showing you guys kind of a visualization of it. We're going to start Unit 8 in today's video. That's going to be solutions. So we're going to be talking about a lot of mixing things together with water, and then what does that do to it. So think about salt water, think about, maybe we could just jump into an example. Over here, as you can see, it says drink mix. So we're going to pretend that that's going to be Kool-Aid. Let's have that zoom in for a second. It might not be the best, I apologize with the lighting, but it does say drink mix. So we're gonna pretend we're gonna make some Kool-Aid here. And as you can imagine, when you're adding Kool-Aid, what do you see noticing happening to the color? And I can tell, a bunch of you can tell it's already pretty dark red, but it didn't start out like that. And you can see where the word saturated popped up here. We're going to be talking a lot more about this idea of saturation tomorrow. But today I just wanted to introduce just a few basic things about solutions. This is the kind of chemistry we're going to be talking about for a little bit. And as you can imagine, if I add water from the top, you're seeing that the color is getting lighter and lighter. And I'm just going to let some out this valve here. And if I keep going even more, the color is getting lighter and lighter and lighter as well. Essentially, as you already know, if you water something down, it's not going to taste as good. So kind of just starting with the lesson just a little bit, we're going to restart. So let's say that we're trying to make a liter of Kool-Aid. Let's start out with a liter, boom. And we've had Kool-Aid like this before. Is that going to taste very good? Nah, I don't think it is either. And actually, we have this idea, something called concentration, which this little like sensor is going to pick up on. And you can see by the number, it's 0.185 moles a liter. That's not a very high concentration. And we're going to talk more about this idea when we're actually talking about the math later in the week. But we're actually able to calculate how strong a given solution is. So one of the cool things about it is this. If you add more, the concentration is going to go up. And that makes a lot of sense. Now again, I'm still adding, I'm waiting for that saturated point to come, so I'm still adding a lot of solution. I'm adding a lot of Kool-Aid, say, for example, for this. And it's at 5 already. It started out at like 0.1, so it's pretty good now. Oh, and now that idea of saturation comes. Now, one of the things, I'm not promising this is going to work well. If you look at the bottom, my hope is that you can slowly start to see that's pretty... Wow, now I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's not letting me cheat. You can still see it's pretty concentrated here. But it looks like we're just out of this. But you can almost tell, and I'm sorry, but you can kind of tell, but there's this black line right at the bottom of stuff that's not dissolved. We've all had this before too. We've had that Kool-Aid where there's still stuff at the bottom. And you know how strong that tastes. So concentration can not only be a mathematical thing when we can calculate, which we will later, but also be a visual thing. Things that are really concentrated are going to have a very strong color associated with them. And things that are not concentrated, say 0.205, this is going to be very dilute. And you probably have heard that word dilute before. Is referring to diluting something in taste. So one of the things we could easily show with this is, I'm going to let some water out. Notice our concentration is not going to change, but I'm going to add more water on top of it now. And it dropped to 0.093. So we can use this idea a lot in cooking. If you have something that's too salty, add some more stock to it, add some more water to it. Spicy, you can add, take away things as well. You can add more water to it. And these are all things that work. And it's not just with drink mix. This works with every single chemical. So if I pick like copper sulfate, I'm just going to make sure it's copper sulfate, CuSO4. Add a little bit this in, concentration's going to be 0.54, and I can just keep adding more and more chemical, and it's become more and more saturated. And actually the cool thing with this one is you can also see a little bit better actually. There's a lot of non-dissolved chemical there. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about this before. So that's just kind of a little bit of an intro to kind of what this unit's gonna be talking about. It's gonna be talking about adding things to water. I'm gonna teach you how to measure this mathematically. This moles per liter is actually the equation, but we'll talk more about that later. And kind of how to visually see it. I'm gonna leave this link so you guys can play with this a little bit and really kind of see what's going on. Seeing the number drop just now, and we'll continue to until we fully dissolve the rest of that solution, which is really kind of cool if you think about it. And again, I'm still adding a bunch and they're still saturated, so that means we can still add some more water. And you can tell, like, sometimes we've had dishes like this that are way too spicy, way too salty, way too sweet, where there's nothing you can do to fix it. This is an example of that. And we're kind of back. And again, the number is dropping, and it will continue to, as you can see right there. So just something really wanted to look you guys and have you guys check out really, really quickly. Something else that's kind of cool is what the heck is going on with this. So with this, there's two really other main words that we need to talk about with this. And those words are solvent and solute. Now, these are vocab words that I am very aware that you guys were talked about in middle school. These are words that a bunch of you know from biology, but they're very, very, very easy to flip. And that's something I don't want to have happen to you guys. There's a lot of vocabulary words, this unit that start with S. I sent out a email to everybody, all my students at least, with a word search. Not a word search, but a crossword puzzle. And you'll see there's a lot of words that start with S. A lot. But really taking a bit by bit piece on this unit isn't that bad. But I do really kind of want to show what these are really quickly. With solvent, solvent is going to be the water. And solute, right, is going to be the chemical. And I apologize if this probably isn't that visible. Let me just try this a little bit differently. Hopefully that's a little bit better for you guys. But the solute is going to be what is dissolved. In our case, from before, it's going to be something like Kool-Aid, salt, etc. Solvents will be water. Normally it's water. Something else, it could be anything that's really a liquid. Milk could count. But the solvent, right, the solvent's going to be what is doing the dissolving. And again, sadly you can't see this, I'm sorry. It's going to be water primarily. And the solute is what is dissolved. That's going to be Kool-Aid, salt, this copper 2 sulfate. And that's just something I kind of just wanted to intro a little bit in this video. I'm going to put the link to this in the description below. I did issue a challenge as well. If this video can get 100 views fully, I can track that. I will show you guys my plant babies, which I've mentioned in class a little bit. So if you guys are interested in that, get this video to 100 views and show me that you guys are viewing it, okay? It's going to be tough this week, I'm not going to lie. And even though I'm not grading stuff now, there will be a point where we're going to have to. You know that, I know that. So really kind of focus in, and this is going to make your life a lot easier, okay? Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.